Steelers Nation. I'm so excited to announce I will be the starting quarterback this upcoming season. I'm a huge fan of Mike, so I'm looking forward to having him as my head coach. I also plan to take George and Dee.
The Pittsburgh tries to bully Aaron Rodgers during their meeting as he turns down their contract. Let's dive straight into the video. The Pittsburgh Steelers have recently been in the spotlight due to their strong connection to veteran quarterback Aaron Rodgers, who is seen as a likely addition to the team. Both sides have expressed interest in a potential partnership since the start of free agency, though Rodgers is taking his time to make a decision about his future. At present, Pittsburgh appears to be the most plausible destination for the four-time MVP, but other opportunities could emerge for him to start elsewhere, which is why he is not rushing his choice. Additionally, retirement remains a possibility as Rodgers will turn 42 during the 2025 season. Rodgers is a controversial figure in the NFL, and opinions among Pittsburgh fans are divided regarding his potential signing. Many fans are frustrated with the slow pace of this process, and tensions are rising in the city. With the 2025 NFL Draft just around the corner, the Steelers may need to consider drafting a quarterback, which makes Rodgers' decision crucial before the event. However, team insider Mark Kaboly remains less concerned than some fans, suggesting that the Steelers have likely received some form of assurance from Rodgers or his team about a possible agreement. Kaboly pointed out that it would be unlikely for the Steelers to proceed with this uncertainty unless they were fairly confident in the outcome. Pittsburgh is renowned for its stability and success, so it's unusual to see the organization in such a holding pattern while awaiting a decision from a free agent. If the season were to start today, the team would likely rely on Mason Rudolph, which doesn't seem like an ideal situation for success. Kaboly's point holds weight. The Steelers probably have some form of understanding with Rodgers, which is why they're willing to wait. Rodgers visited the team's facilities recently, spent considerable time with the coaching staff, and left on a positive note, which may have provided Pittsburgh with enough confidence to remain patient. As the draft nears, it's likely that Rodgers will make his decision soon. If there was any reason for allowing him time to think it over, it's probably that the team expects a decision before the draft to proceed with their plans. The Steelers are focused on building a Super Bowl contending roster, and the draft is a key part of that, especially without a clear quarterback in place. Regardless of Rodgers' choice, the Steelers should consider drafting a quarterback to secure their long-term future at the position. If Rodgers signs, he should be viewed as a short-term solution, and a future QB prospect, such as Jackson Dart or Shedeur Sanders, could be ideal candidates to learn from the veteran in the 2025 draft. In the realm of professional sports, few scenarios are as compelling as when a high-profile athlete decides on their future, particularly when it involves a figure like Aaron Rodgers. Known for his remarkable skill and occasionally bold decisions, Rodgers has earned a reputation for being a calculated player who doesn't make career choices lightly. So, when the Pittsburgh Steelers came knocking during the 2025 offseason, their encounter with Rodgers didn't unfold as they had hoped. The Steelers, a legendary franchise in the NFL, found themselves facing a challenge. Their quarterback, Kenny Pickett, was still in the development stage, and the team felt the need for a veteran to help elevate their Super Bowl chances. When rumors about Pittsburgh pursuing Rodgers began circulating, fans and analysts immediately began to imagine the potential of such a pairing, one that could send shockwaves through the league. The meeting between the Steelers management and Aaron Rodgers became one of the most talked-about events of the offseason. With head coach Mike Tomlin and general manager Omar Khan at the helm, the Steelers saw Rodgers as the key to their playoff hopes. His experience and skill made him an ideal candidate to lead the team to glory. But despite the excitement surrounding the meeting, things took an unexpected turn. Rodgers, a player with vast experience and sharp intellect, wasn't easily swayed by promises of instant success. Having spent the majority of his career with the Green Bay Packers, Rodgers was used to navigating important decisions carefully. He wasn't going to jump into anything without considering all his options. Despite his desire to play for a competitive team, Rodgers was hesitant about the Steelers' offer, especially when it seemed to come with a heavy-handed approach that he didn't appreciate. It became clear during the meeting that the Steelers were operating under a sense of urgency. They saw Rodgers not just as a quarterback, but as the missing piece to their Super Bowl aspirations. However, it was evident that their negotiations weren't entirely conventional. In fact, many onlookers considered the Steelers' tactics as overly aggressive, even bordering on coercion. Rodgers, known for his negotiating savvy, didn't succumb to these pressure tactics. Sources within the meeting reported that the Steelers attempted several strategies to push Rodgers into agreeing to a deal. They began by subtly talking about how joining the Steelers could cement Rodgers' legacy as one of the all-time greats. While such incentives might work on some players, Rodgers didn't seem interested in being swayed by such appeals. But what seemed to irk Rodgers the most was the Steelers' insistence on pushing him into making a decision quickly. They presented him with the idea that their window to secure him was closing fast, subtly implying that he would lose the opportunity if he didn't act swiftly. This common negotiation technique, which aims to create a false sense of urgency, didn't sit well with the veteran quarterback. After several hours of intense back and forth, Rodgers made his stance clear. He turned down the Steelers' offer. He explained that while he respected the team's interest, the way they approached the negotiations didn't align with what he was looking for in his next move. For Rodgers, it was essential to be in a situation where he felt his long-term success and well-being were valued, something that the Steelers' tactics had failed to demonstrate. Rodgers' decision to decline the Steelers was a bombshell, one that surprised both the organization and the NFL community. This was a Hall of Fame quarterback, a player with multiple MVPs and Super Bowl victories, choosing not to join a team that was poised to compete for a title. The Steelers' heavy-handed approach had backfired, and Rodgers chose to pass on a potentially lucrative deal in favor of finding a team that treated him with the respect he believed he deserved. Rodgers' refusal to accept the Steelers' offer was a significant moment in the NFL offseason. For Pittsburgh, it was a harsh reality check. Despite their rich history and reputation, their aggressive approach to signing a star quarterback didn't work in their favor. The Steelers learned that desperation doesn't always result in success, and their attempt to land Rodgers only served to highlight their sense of urgency. For Rodgers, the decision reinforced his reputation as a player who values thoughtful decisions over hasty ones. Despite what some critics may say about his career choices, this move showed that he wasn't swayed by pressure or the promise of another super.